So this is on 8.3, the last question. If it helps you, you can highlight the corresponding parts so that you don't make a mistake. I'm going to do that. RS corresponds with HG. ST corresponds with KG. And then RT corresponds with HK. RT, HK. My last class asked, these x's represent the same number, so you can find either of them. This is on the last page of 8.3. Which x do we want to solve for? There's no right or wrong answer. X plus 7 sounds good. X plus 7, it corresponds with 3 on the other triangle. We want to set it equal to another set of sides. So normally we would all lean towards using the 8, but what is 8 corresponding with on the other triangle? The 3 minus x. So we don't want to do that. We're going to use the fraction, and you're going to leave it like a fraction. Do not make it a decimal. This is a repeating decimal. It never ends. You'll want to leave like this, so when we cross multiply, we're going to end up with a whole number. What does 20 over 3 correspond with? 5. Cross multiply, we're going to end up with 5 times x plus 7. Please make sure you either distribute now or in the next step. It'll either way make 5x plus 35. When we cross multiply the other way, we have 3 times 20 over 3. How do I multiply a whole number by a fraction? Put it over 1. You can multiply straight across. 3 times 20 is 60. 1 times 3 is 3. This reduces to 20. You could have also just cross-canceled. 3 and 3, they cancel out, and you would be left with 20. Either way. Subtract 35. 5x equals negative 15. Divide by 5. And x equals negative 3. So, you can have a negative x. Like, look at this. When we plug it in over here, 3 minus negative 3. What happens when there's already a minus there in it? I have enough. Yeah. It's going to become a plus. And then the same thing here. Minus 3 plus 7. What does that become? Yeah, positive 4. So, yes, you can have a negative x as long as it becomes a positive side. All right. Go ahead and go to 8.1 extras, part 3, whatever it is, looks like this. We're not doing all of it today. We're just going to keep reviewing through it. Okay, so we're again going to put the formulas up here for similar perimeters and similar areas. What is the formula for similar perimeters? Correct? Equals? Good. The sides are proportional to the perimeters. So side 1 over side 2 equals perimeter of the first over perimeter of the second. The area formula is the same. What is the only difference other than the fact that it's area and not perimeter? The sides are squared. Good. Good. So in this first one, we've got quadrilateral JKLM is similar to quadrilateral EFGH. So first we're going to find the scale factor from JKLM to EFGH. So to find the scale factor, first off, what is a scale factor? Perfect. The number that's multiplied by all the sides. Make sure you know that for the quiz. By all the sides. So you want to pick 2 corresponding side lengths. Let's 30 and 30. Oh, that's not. It does not. HG corresponds with LM.
Can we do 20 and 80?
We sure can. EF corresponds with JK. So remember that we want from JKLM to EFGH. So we want 20 times something. There's already an X here, so I've just been putting a question mark. 20 times the scale factor gives me a length of 8. So what do I do to solve for my scale factor? Divide by 20. There are no decimals in this picture. Just leave it like a fraction, but we do want to reduce. What is 8 and 20 both divisible by? 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So scale factor is 2/5. What about the opposite direction when it says from EFGH to JKLM? It is 5/2. It's going to be the reciprocal because you could use the same side lengths. 8 times the scale factor gives me 20. Divide by 8, and it still reduces to 5/2. You will be asked to do this on the quiz. Be able to find scale factor from both directions. All right, find the values of x, y, and z. So these these figures are similar. So what do we know about the sides of similar figures? They're proportional. And what do we know about the angles of similar figures? They're congruent. So when we solve, we have to keep these two things in mind. What do we want to solve for first? You want to solve for z? Is it a side or an angle? It's an angle. What do we know about angles in similar figures? They're congruent. So we just need to figure out what E is congruent to. E is congruent to J. So Z equals 65. What do we want to find next? Sounds good. X. Is it a side or an angle? It's a side. So we know sides are proportional. So we're going to set up a proportion using X. So X is sitting on side KL. What does KL correspond with on the other quadrilateral? GF. Yeah, GF, which is 11. We want to set it equal to a pair of sides that we know. What two sides do we know? Yeah, we know 8 and 20. Which one's going to go in the numerator? 20, because they're in the same quadrilateral. And then 8 will go in the denominator because they are on the same quadrilateral. Cross multiply, we get 8x equals 220. Divide by 8. We're going to leave it like a fraction. We're not going to make it a decimal. What are they both divisible by?
2.
Yeah. So if you've done 2, it's fine. You just do 2 again because they are divisible by 4. What's 220 divided by 4? And then 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay, and then y. Is y a side or an angle? It's a side. So sides are proportional. We're going to set up a proportion. So y, what does y correspond with? It's HE. So it's 30, yep. Y over 30. We want to set it equal to two side lengths that we know. We still know 8 and 20. All right, which one's going to go in the numerator? 8. Because it's in the same quadrilateral as y, and then 20 will go in the denominator. Cross multiply. 20y equals 240. Divide by 20. Y equals 12. Good. It says find the perimeter of each polygon in the second part, or in the fourth question, sorry. So we're going to find the perimeter of, I'm just writing it in the order they wrote it, of JKLM, and we're going to find the perimeter of EFGH. Okay, so you find the perimeter by doing what? Adding all the sides. Do we know all the side lengths on one of these figures? We do. Which one? Yeah, the smaller one, EFGH. Because we know y is 12. We can add all the sides. 12 and 3 make 15. Plus 11 makes 26. Plus 8 is 34. We're going to put units. So remember with perimeter, we need to practice using the perimeter formula. The perimeter is proportional to the sides. So we can set up the formula with the side from the first over side from the second equals perimeter of the first over perimeter of the second. So these two sides need to be corresponding side lengths. What two corresponding side lengths do we know? Which one? 8 and 20. So do we want to do 8 or 20 on the top? Sounds good. 8 over 20 equals, so 8 came from the first quadrilateral. Do we know the perimeter of the first quadrilateral?
Yes.
Yes, we do. So it's 34. Do we know the perimeter of the second? No, so we're going to put x. Cross multiply, we get 8x equals 680. Divide by 8, and x equals 85. So the perimeter of JKLM is 85 units. We'll do the next one and then we'll pause on this. So we're just going to do this. Number 5. It does need to say that the polygons are similar. They are. I just didn't type it. I'm sorry. So these are similar polygons. We can't do anything if we didn't know they were similar. So similar polygons, again, means the angles, the corresponding angles are congruent, and the corresponding sides are proportional. So do we want to find x or y first? Sounds good. Is y a side or an angle? It is an angle. So that means it's equal to another angle. So let's figure out which one. Which angle is it congruent to? It's congruent to the one we don't know. So, what kind of shape is this? It's a quadrilateral in specific. How many degrees are in a quadrilateral? 360. So we're going to subtract from 360. So you got 61, 116, and 90. You can add and then subtract, or you can just put this in your calculator and keep subtracting until you get how many degrees? 93. So that means y minus 73 equals 93. Y minus 73 equals 93. Add 73. Y equals 166. Okay, we're going to find this side. We're going to find x. Sides are proportional, so we are going to set up a proportion. What does x correspond with on the other quadrilateral? 5. All right, and then what is going to go in the top of my second fraction? 6 over 4. Cross multiply. We get 4x equals 30. Yes, we are going to have a fraction, and we will be okay with it. They're both even, so they're at least divisible by 2. That's all they're divisible by. 30 divided by 2 is, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So x equals 15 over 2. That's where we're going to pause on this paper. We're going to keep doing more of it next week. We're into 8.4, which will actually take the least amount of time out of any of the things that we just did. It's about proportionality theorems. So we're going to be setting up proportions. And that's it. So here's what happens. If a line is parallel to one of the sides of the triangle, then it divides the sides proportionally. So you can find side lengths if you have two parallel lines and it's cut triangles proportionally. So what's going to happen is, if they're parallel, then you're going to be able to set up a proportion that looks like this. We'll have RT, which is this, over TQ, which is this, and it will equal RU over US. So you're going to set up a proportion that looks like that. Okay, so let's look at it. In the diagram, QS is parallel to UT. How did I already know that they were parallel without them telling me they were parallel? Little triangles. And then the length of RS is 4. The length of ST is 6. And the length of QU is 9. What is the length of RQ? So we don't know the length of RQ. We do know that the sides are proportional because QS and UT are parallel. So we're going to set up a proportion. We're going to start with X. Put it over 9. And it will equal 4 over 6. Then we cross multiply. 6x equals 36. Divide by 6, and x equals 6. But remember, we made up the letter x, so we're going to say the length of our Q is 6. Remember, when you're saying length of, you don't need a line above. It just says RQ equals. Here's what you just did. 6 over 9, which is this side, is equal to 4 over 6. Okay, you can reduce them and see if they're equal, or just to check, you're going to be doing this in a second anyways, you can cross multiply and see if they equal. 6 times 6 is 36, and then 4 times 9 is 36. Does 36 equal 36? Then we did it correctly. Okay, so we're going to set up proportions. That's it. We do it again. Find the length of AB. So we need to find that piece, AB, right there. So I'm going to put x in the numerator and 6 in the denominator. And it will equal 5 over 10. Cross multiply. 30 equals 10x, so x equals 3. So remember, you're saying the length of AB is 3. So if you want to pause for a second and look at this, I'm going to try to make your life a little easier if you can see it. So 10 and 5, okay, what's the scale factor from 10 to 5? What do I have to multiply from 10 to get 5? 1/2. So that means on the other side, the scale factor will be the same. It'll also be 1/2. So 6 times 1/2 means x has to be 3, which is what we got. So if you can use your brain. Some of them you can't, like this one's not going to be a whole number. You got 2 and 9, there's no number. Yeah. So we're going to set up a proportion for this one. So x over 7 equals 2 over 9. Cross multiply, we get 9x equals 14. Divide by 9. Does this reduce? No. So the length of AB is 14 over 9. Over 9. Okay, so what we're about to do is the opposite. Instead of finding a side length, because you have parallel lines, we're going to see if the lines are parallel. So it's going to be a little opposite. Come on. The lines will be parallel if the sides are proportional. If the sides are proportional, then you have parallel lines. So we're going to set up proportions and see if they equal. If they do equal, then you have parallel lines. So we're going to do 3 over 4 and see if it equals 4 over 5. You can outright see that these are not the same, but here's a way to check on bigger numbers, like you're going to have 7.5 and 5 and 6 and 4. You can multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 4 is... Do those two equal each other? No, so these are not proportional. So we can say not parallel. Then over here we do the same thing. 6 over 4 will equal 7.5 over 5. Cross multiply, we get 30. And then what is 4 times 7.5? 30. So we're going to list them as parallel. So segment AB is parallel to segment XY.